contracts I signed with a stylist. Yeah, blue faces blowing up.
We're here with Drew Oquendo, also known as Sub 2 Drew, Marine Corps combat veteran and former or still bodybuilder. You can tell. You see the guns.
Former.
So
former
bodybuilder, now real estate investor. So want to say welcome to Drew. Thanks for hopping on, Drew.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. It's an honor.
Yeah, for sure. So real quick, just wanted to jump into it, is what's your story? How'd you get into Sub 2? How'd you get into investing overall? Just give us your story. I mean, you've done bodybuilding, you're a veteran. So first off, thank you for your service. But
Appreciate
what's your story?
Story is, let's see. I mean, it's pretty simple. Sum it up. I'll go into a little bit, but really to sum it up, bottom line up front, it's just you want something, go after it. That's really my story. But it started my last year in the Marine Corps, which was 2014. That whole year was my last year. So like just right before the turn of the year, December timeframe, maybe even November, I grabbed a course. Just like most of us, we start with buying into some sort of course or studying something on YouTube or whatever. But I bought a course, Jerry Norton's course, actually, way back in the day. Well, it feels like now, but it was about wholesaling. But it also taught, in order to be a good wholesaler, you had to know how to be. It's good to know how to flip, because that's who your primary audience is. That's who your customer is, a flipper or a landlord. That's what his advice was. So it was teaching how to flip. Obviously, because of that, I learned how to flip in order to run these numbers and put it out as a wholesale deal. So that's it, really. Just started with the program and then took action immediately. My runway time was that last month of the year, 2013, and then 2014, because I guess in my mind, I had to have everything, starting from the top, going to the bottom or whatever. I guess that's that military. But I hit the ground running in January. And 2 weeks into the year, this is 2014, I got my first deal, which was a REO. It was a bank-owned property, straight off the MLS. Put $1,000 EMD. This was in North Carolina. So I was stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. So literally to be resourceful, which is one of the things, the qualities that anybody who wants to do anything needs. I learned how to write the contract, which it's easy as hell. Just read it and just answer it. Just fill in the blanks. Right. It's not hard. So I wrote the contract and I took it to this guy, this old guy who probably wasn't making any money. He was sitting there on desk time in the Century 21 office. Took it to him and said, hey, I want to put an offer on this property. I already wrote it up. Here it is. I just need you to submit it. And he submitted it and we won. I was like, wow. All right. So what next? So now I had to go try to wholesale it. And that's when I realized wholesaling wasn't for me, or at least at the time, I've never really been much of a wholesaler. I guess I had too much ego for that. But I'm trying to push this deal and I'm getting blocked by everybody. And I felt like I was probably making this story up myself, but I felt like, man, they know the game. So they know that I only have it for so much time before I have to give it up or close on it. And from that, it also grew another maybe limiting belief in my head, but it grew a belief that in order to get respect as a wholesaler, you got to be a buyer. They got to know you buying deals, and then they trust you a little bit more to sell a deal to you. That was just my thought process. So either way, I was like, man, I know this is a deal because I did everything Jerry said. So I happened to come in contact with a guy out that way. He's still out there doing business. His name's Mike Ferrara, former FBI agent, and he actually quit that to go kill it in real estate. And, he has a massive real estate business now. He's still out there killing it. We still talk. And he was my first JV partner, first private lender, first friend in the business, first everything. And it was just right there. And it's crazy how facades work, because at the time he was already doing deals and killing it, in my opinion. And he thought I had a bigger operation because I had all the smoke and mirrors set up. People talk about. I had the phone line with switchboards going to here and there, which was nowhere, thinking I had this big old operation. So it worked. He thought I was the man, which I really wasn't, because I was leaning on him for everything. What he ended up doing was actually buying that deal. He became a private lender on that deal. He was like, man, it's a deal here. But he was the type of guy, and I guess this is where it starts, is that he believed in, he was like always forward thinking. So he saw if he can make he could help me make money on that deal. One, he can make some money with it, but also he can see what I can do with the deal. And then we can do a lot more business together, which if I would have stayed up there, I'm sure we did a ton more business together than splitting, me going down to Florida. But long story short, on that deal, I ended up making 20K on the deal. We had a 60-40 split, and it was like, wow. And he said I got spoiled because, not all deals go like that,
Right.
which is true, but it was perfect to give you that proof of concept, right? And from there, it was like, I don't know, what it was. I was just flowing and doing deals, flip after flip, going into the next flip, and then getting into creative deals because there was people in the area that were doing creative deals. And then also too, coming from a poor mindset, of course, I'm in the military, so I had good credit at the time, and I had a job, which helps. Is the other equation, the good credit that people don't seem to understand. Credit goes hand in hand with having a job and income. So I had that. So I was able to, if I needed to, get loans and things like that. But I had the poor mindset, which kind of helped in that case because I didn't have to do, I automatically looked at how to get into it with no money. That's how we all really get into wholesaling. But how to buy these deals, with no money, which is what I'm doing now. And what was happening back then, just at a smaller scale. Mm-hmm. So I did a wide variety. I did enough. I dabbled in everything that year. Everything short of sub 2. I didn't do a sub 2 deal that year, but knew of the concept, but didn't do it. There was a guy in the area who was doing it and kind of had a bad rep for those deals. So it's kind of like, But fast forward, that got me launched in it. Then me thinking super big head, thinking I can conquer the world, moved down to Florida, to Orlando. And that's where I fell flat on my face because it's different. It's a different market. It's the limiting beliefs, right? It just exposed more limiting beliefs because our market up there's pockets in Orlando that will mirror the price points over there in Jacksonville, North Carolina, outside the base where I was operating at. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot more other markets that are bigger and with bigger numbers. That was a little intimidating. It was like, man, I better chill out. Even though, if a flip is a flip, you're doing the same stuff. It's just, it feels like it's higher stakes. So I got my license because of that. And it was in preparation.
You got your real estate license? Okay.
Yeah. Real estate license in preparation of that before I came down. In the military, you were able to go to one of the bases and take the test and all that stuff before, regardless if I was in the state or not. So I was already equipped with the license. I landed here, 2015, January 2015. And I started operating as an agent. I was Keller Williams agent, and then hit the ground running with that. Again, like doing the research, learning. Like a lot of people skip steps because they don't want to put the work in to learn. I read Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller, and that's what gave me the blueprint as an agent to make $1 million, right? And I was like, yo, this is it. How can you fail? We got this right here. So I went and followed him. Went with Keller Williams because I thought that was going to breed, everybody in there was going to breed the same results and stuff like that, which wasn't the case. But again, it's not them. It was just me and my limiting beliefs. I came down and made money, or I saw the concept to make money, but I failed my first year down here. I only made $7,000 my whole first year. And that doesn't work. It just exposed a lot of limiting beliefs. And fast forward, I corrected those limiting beliefs, did a little better the next year, and then started taking off like that third year. I got coaching. I went with which I had coaching during that time. I was struggling, but it was finally, and everything was starting to click in the third year. So I was with Mike Ferry organization coaching, which taught me to get stronger on the phones. And then next steps after that, just always staying connected to the investor community, but not, I would buy deals here and there if they were creative. And fast forward to COVID, kind of doing the same thing. Also, for a short period of time, I did some insurance sales over the phone. I just wanted to be good on the phone and be able to make a lot of money. Wolf of Wall Street had came out prior to me getting into like insurance. And I was like, man, I want that environment. Make money on the phone, not need to go to a house or do anything like that. Just virtually make money on the phone and get paid faster. So did the insurance game, still dabbled in real estate as well. Never completely left it. But then COVID hit. And then I got an opportunity to partner with some people and run an acquisition company. And then that was it. I was all the way in. I did I taught listing agents on that team, and I ran the acquisition company to the point where then I was just running the acquisition company and then going out on my own and then starting my own acquisition company. It's about, I say 2 years now, been doing that on my own, just running with a partner. And then here I am now. So that's it.
So talk to me about you were doing well in the flips, right? And that was obviously in North Carolina. What kind of facilitated the move down to Florida? And then why did you not completely switch up, but still in real estate, but you said, I'm not going to do the flips anymore. I'm going to focus on being an agent?
Yeah. Good question, man. The flips, to tackle that first. Well, actually, what got me down here? So I was married at the time, and Marine Corps, you tend to do things fast. So I got married at the time, divorced also followed after that. But my wife at the time wanted to move down here. So I was like, if I can do it here, I can do it anywhere. So I thought, moved down here and then found out the harsh reality. So that's what got me here. But I like it here. It's good. So I don't regret that. But as far as flips is a damn job. It's a full-time job in itself. And it ain't all that it's cracked up to be. A lot of people, it's just the sexy thing. That's it. I mean, now there's more sexy things out here, and the Airbnbs and all that stuff, that it's one of those fads. But flipping was one of those things that it was just sexy, and you see it on TV and all that, and everybody's like, oh, the flips. But it ain't all. That's not where it's at. It was just too much, always out on the go, on the road, and at the properties. And I was like, man, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to actually. We all know, even the best fix and flipper knows buy and hold is really the answer. Buy and hold is really where it's at. So that's really what I want to get into. And that's also what really launched me into, or kept me in, like, steady and firm in the creative financing world, is getting the buy and hold properties. What was the other question? That's why I fix and flips. And I still do them. It's just I do it a lot differently, and I take it as they come. It's not like my number one go-to thing.
I gotcha. Cool. So what does your business look like today? Kind of segue into that. You said that not as much on the fix and flip, more acquisitions. You ran the acquisition side. So what does the business look like today?
The business today, huh? That's an interesting question, because I was actually talking to my business partner about what the business looks like today. The business, before our conversation, my business partner and I, the business was it looks like a wholesale business. A lot of people think I'm a wholesaler, but I'm not. I'm a buy and hold investor, my partner and I, and creative investor at that. But we do some wholesaling. The thought was to do more wholesaling, because when you think about it, one, wholesaling is a rat race. It's a hamster wheel, over and over and over. It's a lot of money going into that people don't talk about in order to make it actually operate efficiency. It's a lot of money to put numbers to it. 70K, you want to make 70K, you at least got to put in 20K in marketing. It's money, and those margins seem good, but we ain't talking about paying out people. Now you got to pay out people. And then we didn't talk about the stress if the people are not, operating. I don't have a job. This is it. Me and my partner, we don't have a job. We live off of this real estate stuff. So that was a way maybe we can have some income as a job, like a job type income, or I don't even want to dare say the word passive, but the idea was that you would, that we would be able to systematize it like the McDonald's method, right? Because you can do that with wholesaling, in my opinion, which I think everyone will agree. You can do that with wholesaling. It's, in my opinion, it's almost impossible or very, very challenging to do it with creative financing, because it's very subjective to the principal in that deal, which is us. So we always got to constantly be there if we want to turn out or create a creative deal. So the thought was like, let's systematize it and run it. But damn, we didn't think about the people, the people and all their limiting beliefs that come with it, right?
Right.
The hiring. Right now, we pay 6 figures in salaries right now. And that shit becomes stressful when it's not producing a profit. It's understandable to an extent, but when you're trying to go out and do other deals, JV deals, so you can take that money to fund this semi-retirement plan over here with these people with their limiting beliefs, like all that becomes like everything just start caving in. It becomes too much. And what for? That's equivalent, in my opinion, to someone like all the time I hear these people who want to quit their job. They want to quit their job. I haven't had a job since the Marine Corps. That was my last job. But I just flowed right in it and did it, right? having a job and leaving that platform, I'm not going to call it security or foundation or whatever, because it's not, but having that platform and then trying to, and disrespecting that platform and trying to go start a whole nother job, because running a wholesale business is a damn job, you know, it's crazy. Why are you doing that? Yo, just go buy deals. You're a buyer. I've been telling people that for so long that I finally started listening to it myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are we doing this? It's causing problems, arguments, frustration. It's like, we're buyers. Let's just cut all the stress. Stop bleeding out this money. It's like you got a hole in the ship, in a little boat. You got a hole and you're trying to like empty the water before his shit sinks. And that's the conversation we had today. So what it's going to look like is probably just cutting a lot of that and just buying properties and doing deals. That's it. And building a support system around that. Obviously, we need the assistants, right? Asset manager, those type of roles, field manager, those things for when we get these deals, we can just plug it into our system and that will work itself out. And then we can build on top of that if we choose to. Or maybe at this rate, we're set to get out of the rat race in December, meaning that the cash flow that we get from our properties, we just got to buy 2 income producing properties a month. And all the way till December, that'll get us out of the rat race. We'll be at about 35K a month passive, and we can get out of rat race, and then we can do whatever fucking we want at that point and start going for net worth grabs and having fun in life. And not that we're not having fun now, but it really exponentially grows after that point. And so that's the plan right now we've been playing with.
Nice. So what would you say in so many different things, what's been the biggest win to date? And that could be financially, that could be business partner wise, that could be however you deem fit.
The biggest win, that's funny. Every time you ask that question, I bet you hear like these numbers and figures and all that, which causes people to believe, which brings people to this industry that all they see and all they want is the big wins and stuff. But that don't happen all the time. Like these big 90K deals, 200K deals, 100K, 6-figure deals, that shit don't happen all the time. And so I can say that we're in a deal right now. We're looking at net about 200K if all goes well once the renovation is done. It's a luxury flip. But honestly, what's even sexier than that and what's a bigger win to me at this maturity level I have now in the industry is consistency. Getting consistent deals is the win. And we are able to pump out about 2 to 4 deals consistently, like buy and hold deals a month. And all we need is 2 each month to carry us to the promised land, right? Mm-hmm. So consistency is my biggest win, really. Staying, achieving consistency and staying consistent is the win.
How would you say that you have achieved that consistency? How are you generating your leads and how are you maintaining that consistency?
I love that follow-up question. What's crazy is I fought against social media for so long, right? And I think rightfully so, right? But let me say this first. I think it's rightfully so, remember that. But I fought against it so long, but now, oddly enough, 100%, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll say 95% of the deals come from social media or someone I met from social media and just putting the content and stuff out there to this point now. So that's another reason why it's just like, let's just get rid of the stress and the other people's limiting beliefs and their, negativity and all that. Let's get rid of that. But I say rightfully so. I think I waited long enough because if I was doing social media, and I wasn't doing deals, like you can do anything in the world you want, but you can't do everything at the same fucking time. Like people don't understand that at the same time, you can't do it effectively, whether people want to argue or not. There's a place for things, right? And I think now, my personal opinion, and now that I understand how to facilitate helping anybody who comes from social media with a deal or closing a deal, I have something to offer other than me stumbling through deals and stuff like that, right? So there's people on social media who want to be comedians, not intentionally. That's not their field, but they're just doing funny stuff about real estate, like what does that get you? I don't know. What does it get you? Like, are you building confidence and people see that you can close deals, like, I don't know. I don't see that. So I never really resonated with that. When I'm out when I put something on social media, I'm just showing people that we're actually doing business. I'm looking for opportunities to recruit people, deals, and private lenders and stuff like that. And that's everything that's been coming. So I say I put it off, rightfully so, because I had to build myself up to get to a point to where I can be social media worthy, of watching. This is my opinion. And then that's now where we're getting all our deals from.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting take, because you hear so many people say, hey, get on social media, do this, do that, make sure you're putting out content. And it's like, yeah, that's all great, but there's a time and a place, right? And it'll kind of find you just like it did for you, where now you can offer something and it fits in your lane. So I think that's
growth.
Good point.
You grow into it.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, right? So we talked about all the positives and the biggest wins. What would be your biggest loss? And maybe it's not a loss. Maybe you classify that as a learning lesson. What would that be for you?
That's a good question. Biggest loss. The biggest loss, hands down, is to experience a loss and miss the lesson that was wrapped in that loss, right?
That's good.
And then the biggest lesson learned is learning to understand that every loss is just a learning lesson. So don't take it so damn seriously. Just take the lesson and move on. That's it. That's what keeps you going on to the next deal and not jumping off a damn building when you mess something up. Just keep moving.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think that's kind of, you alluded to it a little bit earlier about people talking about all these big numbers. Hey, look here's my HUD statement. Here's a check that I got for a wholesale deal. And it brings people into it. And then you get connected with those people that have those limiting beliefs, right? So they're like, well, I just saw this guy make 50K on a wholesale deal. And you say, yeah, you see the tip of the iceberg. You don't see all these other learning lessons that they actually went through. So I think it's important that people know the other side of the numbers, right? It's not everything is going to be all good and all shiny and rainbows and sunshine, right? There's still work to be done, right?
Always. Yeah. Always work to be done, for sure.
What do you think the best piece of advice maybe you got from a mentor or somebody that what's been the best piece of advice you've gotten over the years?
That's a good question. I mean, because depending on what time of day you ask me, you probably get a ton of different answers. But right now, thinking about that question, the best piece of advice is just do it. Just go out and do it. Do something. Nothing happens until something happens. You gotta get the pendulum swing, before, so then you can find a way in. But you got to get some type of movement. And then with that is you gotta stop listening solely on to everyone else. Everyone has their own path. You got your own internal guidance system. You got to follow that. There's things that you're going to be able to do that I may never be able to do or even understand, and vice versa. That the reason why a lot of people, when they come to me, they're trying to figure out if a deal's a deal. You're the creator of that. You're the one who decides that if a deal's a deal. What is your financial situation? What do you need? You need money up front. You need money in the middle. You need money at the end. You're looking long term. You're looking short term. You're looking what? All of that matters on what's a deal. So the best piece of advice is really just follow, look inward. Follow your own internal guidance system. Listen to yourself. It's gonna lead you somewhere. If you really listen to it, it ain't gonna steer you wrong. It may lead you to the person that you need to meet to get the help to get you to the next step.
He said, just do it like the Nike swoosh on the hat. You already know.
There you go. I'm not sponsored, by the way.
So you talked about it briefly before on kind of what the business looks like, where it's going. Big picture, what do you see as the future of the business? We talked what's going to be the immediate future, but big picture, future 5 years, 10 years. Is the business, you going to stay in the real estate lane? Is it looking at buying businesses? What's your horizon look like?
So on the horizon is one. Remember, we talked about everything having its place. So my partner and I, we want to do all these things. And the thing is, before, in my opinion, sometimes we bump heads when it comes to this, but in my opinion, it's like, and that there's a place to do all these things, but we have to lay the foundation first, right? We can't build the second floor of the house if the foundation isn't built. So the foundation is getting out of the rat race. After that, yes, buying businesses. That's what I want to do. I know my partner has a bunch of ideas she wants to do, but we're going to do all that. And it's really to make it simple, because there's no specific business. It's just go find wins, right? I was in the Marine Corps. I was an infantryman, right? So we hunt and kill, right? I want to go hunt and kill another opportunity. That's what moves me, right? Hunting and killing. So I just want to go keep doing that and getting more. At that point, it's building net worth.
Yeah.
So
now you say, hey, I want to go buy businesses. Your everyday average Joe, somebody out there that's just listening, they think that's totally unachievable. It's unattainable. That's this pie in the sky type talk. What gave you the confidence and the wherewithal to go and say, hey, this is what we're going to do? Where did you get that permission?
Yeah, from inside, right? Follow your own internal guidance system. It's on whoever's thinking that is true, right? Not just because they're thinking it, we all know that, but right, it's true because they haven't elevated and grown to the point where it's possible for them. But the thing is, I'm not saying I'm going to buy a business now, because it's a very shiny object right now in the sub-2 community. Everyone's looking at buying businesses with no money down and all that stuff, like we buy houses, right? And a majority of those people aren't even successful at buying houses, right? But they're jumping to the next shiny object. So it's not that. It's at that point, what's giving me the permission to do it? One, it's there set as something to rise to. Mm-hmm. And what's going to allow me to do that and make all the mistakes and learn the lessons that come with it is having that foundation set, that getting out of the rat race. When we got 35K, that's going to grow into 40, just organically growing to 40, growing to 60 as the market appreciates or even depreciates. We all know that rent seems to either stay the same or always go up. And then what's countering against that is debt pay down. We're buying properties sub-2. So shit, we're getting into them right now, and it's allowing us to get 35K passive income coming in. Shit, we can stop and do nothing. Not that we would, but that debt pay down, those tenants, they're going to work hard so they can get their Gucci and all this other shit. They're going to do that and work hard, but they're going to take 30% of that and they're going to put it towards our retirement. That's going to pay down that debt, and that's going to increase our cash flow. Right. So that's already set in place. That's what's giving us the permission and authority to go out and do whatever the fuck we want to do. That's called fuck you money, if I can curse on it. But with the spirit of fuck you money, it don't matter if I can curse on it. Bleep that shit out.
Yeah. I like it.
Real is what we want. You know?
That's right. That's right. What's one saying or phrase or mantra that you kind of live by, or that really has a profound presence in your everyday life?
Actually just got a new one, and the new one is to trust your intuition. It goes along with the internal guidance system, but I got a little token here. It's hooked up here, so I can't really take it off, but it represents Pisces energy because my significant other is a Pisces. Mm-hmm. And also that's my partner, but it's trust your own intuition. That's it. That's my mantra right now. Nice.
So you did talk about your partner. So for a lot of folks, like, how did you meet your partner? How did that business relationship start? And what's kind of the yin and yang? What's the roles? How does that play out?
Yin and yang. Ooh, good choice words. Yeah. The thing is, that's exactly what it is, a yin and a yang. She brings that amazing feminine energy that I lack. She has everything. She's equipped with everything to do it on her own and has had some success on her own. And so have I, but together we can go further. But how we met, it was just, I'd say by chance, but it seems like it was meant. It was the next thing that I needed for sure. I don't know what lesson she's getting from it, but I know I'm getting my money's worth for sure, because it's a challenge, a good challenge, because it exposes the areas that I need to work on in myself to grow, to be able to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. So how we met was just seemingly random, but everything kind of clicked fast. And it started off as a hiring opportunity for an executive assistant role that led into like, shit, if I don't do something like offer more, there ain't no way I'm going to keep all this magical stuff around. So wow. I had to, so that's it.
Wow. That's crazy. So you're out there looking almost for an executive assistant. She steps in and you're like, man, she's a superstar. Just uncovered. You just uncovered that gem.
100%. Yeah.
It's amazing.
100%. I mean, and that goes into one of my old partners, him and I, we used to always say, like, we don't have to go far off the path to look for what we need. It's always going to be on the path. There's no string. So all it was, I knew as executive assistant would be helpful. An assistant would be helpful, something to that effect, some type of leverage or person to leverage, but was not going. I just went to an event, a random event, and boom, right then and there. And it's not like it clicked right away, but it was through everything that was happening. Like it just 3-4 days later, she's working for me, and then maybe a week later, we're partners.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so cool.
And then since then, it's been like an exponential growth.
And so, when was that time frame? How long ago was that?
Months ago. I'd have to look down at the paper or look on paper, but yeah, it seems like an eternity ago. But honestly, it was this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was fast.
Wow. So things can happen fast.
She says a quantum leap.
Yeah.
A quantum leap. 100%.
Yeah. Great. What's do you have any favorite books that you're reading right now, or would you have a recommendation for a book?
Favorite books, man. See over there, we got a lot of them. Favorite books right now. Actually, a book that pops in my head, because there's a ton. It's hard to pick one. I mean, if you look at my Audible, because I don't really read all the time. Yeah, it's more like listening to them. But Outwitting the Devil is a good one. It's supposed to be the flip side to Think and Grow Rich. Yeah, and that book is dope. It's an awesome book. Yeah, it's awesome. So I would recommend that one.
Nice. Cool. Drew, thank you very much for taking the time out. So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you or reach out, or, hey, I want to do a deal with Drew, or I have something to send to Drew, how would they get in touch with you?
Just IG is the best place. Sub2 Drew. You can find me there with the number 2. There's another one, TO, sub TO Drew. That's a friend of mine over in Houston. He's killing it over there.
So who had it first? Who had it first?
I did.
Okay.
Of course I did. He doesn't deny that. He gives me that respect. That's why we're friends. But yeah, he's cool. He's killing it over there. So you can't go wrong either one. But Sub2 Drew is mine. And on IG is the platform that I'm mostly on. So it's easy. It'd be easy to hit me up there. I have a link tree in there. It goes to my Calendly. So if somebody wants to hop on a schedule, they can just click on that and hop on the schedule and we can talk.
Cool. Well, right on, Drew. I appreciate the time.
Appreciate you, man.